for a new session. As any new and emerging field, crowdfunding involves actually a lot of innovation and experimentation, as you heard in the debate. And we're not going to hear about 50 shades of black, or gray, sorry. We're going to hear about different shades of crowdfunding and entrepreneurial finance. And we're going to have four excellent people telling us about that. And first of all, I want to introduce Lasse Mäkelä, which I've already met, from CEO of Investor Oy. He's going to talk about the equity and peer-to-peer business lending experience in Finland. The floor is yours.
Great,
Lasse.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Yes, so I thought of a little bit giving background on sort of what our experience is, a little bit talking about Investor, and a little bit about our Norwegian plans as well. But a lot of that has already been actually covered here earlier. But quickly, just about the background. I started in '97 in investment banking. Started as a banker at Merrill Lynch in London. Did about 4 years IPOs, equity offerings, and so on. And after that, about 4 years in Finland in a boutique called Ice Capital Securities. And after that, about 8 years in an industry. I was heading, for example, Kone Corporation's M&A department. It's an elevator escalator company. They buy quite a lot of companies around the world. So my background has been very much sort of corporate finance background. And really why that's relevant is that every time there was a fundraising process going on, I realized that the process is really cumbersome. There's a lot of bankers, a lot of lawyers, and sort of what if we would actually just take all the extra people away, just do very standardized process, and that's pretty much what the Investor is all about. It's a digital fundraising process. In addition to me, we have quite experienced board, a lot of legal finance background on the board, and marketing, sales, and so on. I just put there, as all these are men here in the picture, so I thought that it may make sense to tell that our management group, we have 50% female as well. So, and trying to find females for the board, but so far it's actually been a little bit difficult, at least in Finland on this segment. But we are working on that. One step sort of backwards. If you look at historically, so generally, what have been the two types of funding possibilities for companies? You've had this what we call cabinet financing. You have VCs, business angels, and so on. Generally, what happens is that you go to a room, you sort of negotiate. There's a small number of people who finally invest, and then finally, after negotiations, you make the investment. That's like the traditional way of raising funding for growth companies. Then there has been this sort of other type of funding, which is the open, transparent way. And earlier, that was only IPOs. That was only listing to stock exchanges. But now, what crowdfunding is doing, the smaller companies can actually also benefit out of this segment. So you can actually you get the benefits of an IPO, visibility, marketing, all that, through a crowdfunding platform. So that's an interesting addition, what crowdfunding brings to small and medium-sized companies. Well, I guess I spoke about this already. A lot of inefficiencies in the system earlier, and then basically what we have done. We have digitalized the fundraising process, as I earlier already said. So it means basically lower costs, faster funding rounds, increased transparency, investment opportunities for all, and then we talk about this wisdom of the crowd. I still want to bring that in there because everybody can see, and if there is some strange things what have happened with the entrepreneur or the company before, that probably gets visible within an hour or so. So it's very important backup. Although the project should have been done thorough due diligence should have been done when it comes, but still there is this backup as well, which is a good thing there. Then we talked about the fully licensed operations. So we are the first equity crowdfunding player in Europe who has this fully passportable MiFID license. We have notified now all these 28 countries, Norway being one of them. So we have now the right to operate in Norway with our process. And then what can we offer to the investors? Well, in Finland we are doing equity and debt crowdfunding. So we do transferable bonds. We've done now 2 bonds. We've started with the bonds. They are quite new on our platform, but we start to sort of build on those as well. But internationally, we are now doing equity only. And what else the investors get? There's basically a selection process. About 10 to 15% of the companies who have applied, they finally end up to our platform. So we check, not all companies can come in. We check them, we go through our own due diligence process for those companies, and then finally, if they have met all the requirements, then they can come on our platform. Then the license we talked about already. Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, the due diligence, yeah, well, anyway, so we have a legal due diligence process where we check that the background of the entrepreneurs, there is no sort of bigger unpaid bills in the past and so on. So all the investors get a realistic picture what they are investing into. Here are some of the numbers so far. I think it's already over 700 companies we have received applications, 117 campaigns accepted, 51 successful rounds. We actually looked at these numbers also for the first half of 2015, and there the so-called success rate was actually closer to 60%, more than 60%, if I remember correctly. So in the past, we've been a little bit sort of, for the last 3 years, we've been a little bit practicing and trying trial and error and finding the way how it works. And in 2015, the success rate was already 60%, and in 2015, we raised more than 7 million euros for our target companies. So it means that about 3 million we raised during the last 3 years together. So it seems that there's this kind of like a growth happening at the moment. What I'm really proud of is the amount of investments. More than 9,000 online investments have been done through our platform. So it means that when a person comes on our site, decides to invest, they go to the online payment system. They can choose PayPal, a credit card, or then sort of locally sort of these online banking systems. We don't have it yet, but we are going to be using Bank ID in Norway in the future as well. So 9,000 times the process has gone through and it works. Then there is this the report which was mentioned earlier, and based on that data, we've calculated. We know what data we sent to the report makers, and we know what was the market size in the Nordics. Based on that, our market share was 46% in the Nordic region the last time it was checked. But I think nowadays it's going to be bigger. Well, quickly, just a few cases. Self-storage company, Cityvarasto, they raised more than 1 million euros and they got 300 investors through our platform. It was a so-called pre-IPO. They are planning to list to stock exchange, to Nasdaq, and they did a round with us first. Then there is all kinds of technology companies, health tech, technology, and so on. Here's one company, Merplast. They got 95 investors and about 130,000 euros raised. Then there is also fashion. So we are a generalist. We do all kinds of projects at the moment. So basically she does this kind of very funky scarves for men generally. A lot of some of the people some of the celebrities are using his scarves or her scarves. So she got a lot of people who trust in her, and she actually wanted to do this round with so-called hidden round. So it was only visible for her own customers, and her own customers funded this project. So she got almost 290,000 euros from 74 investors in the round. Then I think we've been speaking about this quite a lot already, but just illustrate few boxes where the crowdfunding is. And I think it's always good to mention that, okay, you have the rewards-based crowdfunding, donation-based, these were already mentioned, but how I see it, this is a little bit different kind of animal here. In rewards, you are selling things. Legally, you sell stuff beforehand. There's VATs involved, and it's kind of different kind of taxation, different kind of regulation. It's quite a different animal. Then you have the investment-based crowdfunding on the other side, which is the equity and the lending. We've been operating in the equity side, and now we are also operating on the lending side. Of course, you can still break this down. On lending, you have the peer-to-peer, and then the peer-to-business type of lending side as well. Equity side also, maybe good to mention, there are also starts to be this kind of two types of models. What I call sort of investment banking model, that's basically what we represent, and for example, what Crowdcube represents. Then you have this so-called VC model, which is sort of what Seeders is representing, and maybe WeSeed in France, where you have a holding company, where people invest into the holding company, and the holding company makes one investment to the target company. Then once there is an exit, most likely this crowdfunding platform will take a carry. They could take 20% out of the profits and then give 80% to the investors. So it's a little bit different kind of model. It depends, when you are thinking about equity crowdfunding, you have to think about these issues as well. But good to mention. Then this graph, what people often show, basically where equity crowdfunding generally is being portrayed with the younger companies, smaller companies. But nowadays also in UK, you start to hear these stories where the company could have got VC money, but they just decided that, well, we don't want somebody to come here to tell us what to do. We want to be in control ourselves, therefore we take the money from crowd. So it's a choice, and it's you start to get bigger and bigger transactions with crowdfunding as well. I mentioned the Cityvarasto. We've done another pre-IPO case called Heros as well. They're also planning to list to stock exchange. We also were a subscription place for a IPO. There was a company, Finnish company, who decided to list to Aktietorget in Sweden, and we were the subscription place for that offering in Finland. So basically it shows that the same process, same sort of delivery channel works for small companies, but also for bigger companies. So it's just a question of where do you want to use crowdfunding for? So it's an interesting aspect there. Then Norway, we a little bit touched upon this already, but we have now we have the license. We've done the notifications to Norway. We have received it, sort of instructions from the financial authorities on how we can operate here, and we have now finally put all the sort of legal paperwork in order. So we are now looking at partners and target companies to be among the first wave of successful companies on our platform. We have a great advisor, Dr. Rotem Schneur. Schneur? I always put I always pronounce it wrong, but anyway. So, and then also we have Peter Moore on our team. He's a nice English gentleman who's based in Helsinki, married to a Finn, and that's why poor him has to live in Helsinki. But anyway, so he's now responsible of our Norway operations. So myself and Peter, we are probably going to be traveling here quite a lot in the near future. And as we already said about with Bidra, so we are sort of starting to work together and so on. But now we are sort of exploring the market and would like to come here. Finally, so what I said earlier, so the digitalization has come to the fundraising, and the old structures, they are losing market share at the moment. We can provide a fully sort of licensed operations, basically meaning legal process, and we would like to come to Norway. That was pretty much what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
It's great to have you coming to Norway and trying out this model. I think I mean, we are experiencing, as you know, quite a bit of change in the economy.
Yeah.
So we have the need for new players, new eyes, new ideas, and if they can come from Finland, it's great.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes. Yes. The green shift, I think, was the kind of terminology for the word of the year last year. And wouldn't you know that crowdfunding is actually very important in this area as well. And we're going to have Dr. Nikolai Løvdahl, who's the CEO of Green Currency, talk about crowdfunding renewable energy projects. It's you, right?
That's me.
Well, welcome.
Thanks. Back in 2003, I was sitting like this, making automation systems for Statoil's new oil and gas platform. That's the point in time where I had my Jens Ultveit Mo has. So I had to figure out some other way to do something sustainable in my life. So I decided I would like to put my effort, and if there is any talent and time and resources, into a more sustainable world. So I had to find the tools. So I did three things. I quitted my job. I started to study innovation and entrepreneurship up at the University of in Trondheim at industrial economics. Supposed to be the place for that type of things. And at the same time, I started a consultancy company to prove that to check out when I had something knowledge enough to sell it. And I also ended up with doing a PhD there, and more and more, it was easy to sell my knowledge. So I worked a lot with startups, with big companies, and with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and now I'm also working for the Research Council, trying to help them launching or supporting more disruptive technology within the energy sphere. I'm giving lectures at the University of Oslo on entrepreneurship, trying to put in sustainability ideas, and combining business and sustainable stuff. Because when I had this Jens Ultveit Mo moment, there was nothing to go to if you didn't make it yourself. So finally, I'm also now an entrepreneur, combining these things. And that is, let's see, Green Currency. We are just below the surface, but we will launch a crowdfunding platform for renewable energy production. Not technology, not startups, at least not now. I love startups, and I love new technology. But we think that we will start in some place where the risk is lower, where we have a lot of knowledge to how to qualify projects, where there's not so much uncertainty. There's risks, but we can calculate on it. Then we can offer fixed rates and fixed returns. We decided to be a company that embraces innovation. So we already started with a small project to find out how can we make sure that we are a platform that actually uses the newest technology or the best technology to grow fast internationally, to be attractive for projects, to lower the risk and the transaction costs. So we already have a small project on identifying the bigger projects for this. So we like to think that we actually give you a real option to earn money and save the world. That is the green shift. It's not just yet another stuff you need to do in order to sort your garbage or whatever it is, but it's a real opportunity to invest. And you know also that renewable energy is the single most important activity to get going in order to solve our climate change issues. So we think that if we can offer good commercial terms and also say, by the way, it's not something shitty stuff that you're putting your money on, but it's real environmental friendly, or it's saving the environment, and it's part of the most important activity in the world we can do, then we hope that we can make it be attractive also for you. Before this was, or before us, or before now, this industry has typically been reserved for the professional investors. So we think of ourselves also as those that actually can demystify projects, saying this is a good project, this is not a good project, and try to build that trust. We would really like to work together with banks. But it's really important for us to sort of open up this opportunity for people. I already told you about me. On my team, I have 3 others now. It's Jan Olav. He has been traveling around the world with Vestas, trying to, or not just trying to, but established Vestas, or working together with Vestas to establish them in different corners of the world. After that, he built up the department of new renewable energy in Multiconsult, which is a very big consultancy company in Norway, just went public. He quitted there and jumped on this instead now. And then there's Marco. He's living in Tallinn. He's just defending his PhD, actually, I think it was yesterday. So I took the chance that it was okay. He has, if there's a small hydropower plant that has been invested in Norway last years, probably he was the one that did due deal on it. Then the last one is a professional hippie from Denmark. He took part in the first big startup incubator movement in Denmark. Built a really big incubator that crashed in the end. And after that, he'd been working with communication in the big companies. And now he's living in Portugal with a production company, or a hacker company down there. So we make our stuff down in Portugal. So we are already international. We will soon invite some financial engineers or some dude, or hopefully a woman. On the financial side, and perhaps also on the legal side, because that costs a lot. We think we are jumping into this industry at just about the right time. Since I had my Jens Ultveit Moe moment since 2004 at least, investment globally in clean energy has doubled 6 times. That is mostly proven technology. And then we know that there's so much money being put into new technology that this will probably just accelerate. Combining that we know that renewable energy is, as I told you, the most important issue to solve, or most obvious solution to climate change, it's a good time to jump in. These leaders have just agreed that they will, and you see this is ours. They just agreed that they will, within 5 years, they will double their efforts on renewable energy, or actually on technology development and getting it out in the market. That will be a public-private partnership. So obviously we also want to be, after a while, we also want to help with public-private partnership within this industry. So where are we? We have a pilot project. We have signed a letter of intent with a pilot project to raise mezzanine capital for them. Right now, we think the deal will be 5% return, 5 years for the investor. We don't want to wait for ourselves, because we need to, you know the drill. We need to get online in Norway. We need to spend some more money on the lawyers and so on. So probably we will first go to Germany and launch it on partnering platforms. But we might also go to some other well-known platforms to do it there. But let's see. The pipeline of projects is stacking up, and we don't really want to wait for ourselves. We just want to get out there. So right now we are in the phase where we're really from today, we will actively seek partners. And our business model, we will start in Norway. Actually, that I should say, we will start in Norway with small hydropower, since we see that there's a market for our model there, and we will go internationally as soon as we feel that we have sort of established the infrastructure for it. Probably a bit before that, if I know myself right. But we will try to collaborate, and it's actually a good picture, because we already wanted to work with you guys, because we would like to raise the 30%, and then we would like you to come with the loan afterwards, because we know, and you know, that in this industry they used to get 100% loan, then suddenly there was more risk in the market because of lower electricity prices, and now they demand approximately 30% equity, which we will raise. So that's it. We are doing it. We will search for partners, and we will also search for, let's say, strategic private, investors that might be investing in us, but mainly who want to have better terms going in early in the projects. How many of you have a business card? That's not much, okay? If you think we are doing something that is interesting for you, either as a private investor, I mean, you can put your own money on a project like that, or if you think that we have something to talk about, put your card in there. If you think this has nothing with you to do, you can just keep it. I'm putting it up here. Thanks.
Thank you very much. It's almost like being in church. There's a guy coming up afterwards. We're going to venture out, not into outer space. It might sound like it. We're going to hear from Kenneth Winter, who's the CEO of Moonwalk Innovation, about the Moonwalk approach to startups and entrepreneurial finance. I have heard a lot about the model, so I'm excited to actually hear it from the man who behind it. Welcome up. The floor is yours, Kenneth.
Thank you. This story is not about what we promised to do, it's about what we have already done. And when I say we, it's not me. This is not a story I have to tell. I'm just the voice of 178 people, which of someone, a few are actually here. So could the people that are part of the Moonwalk revolution, could they just stand up so you can see who you are? Oh, so some went home. Yeah, so we are 4 more people, so you can all talk to them and ask them if this was true. Okay? Is this the one I used to click? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take you through their story. But first, I want to tell you why we started this journey together. Okay? So the first is, of course, that, and these are not my words. These are the words of the leading venture specialist at MIT, but it's also the words of Carlson, the former chief executive at SRI, the Stanford Research Institute. They say that if we treated our children the way we treat innovations and the startups, a very few people of us would actually survive. So, and why is that? That is because we love the idea, we love ideas, and we love people who are able to manufacture those ideas and bring them to market. So we treat people as these gladiators. We push them into the ring and we see what happens, and only the strongest survive. Those people that are able to sell their idea, get funding, and get through all this, everything they call, the Death Valley or whatever they call it. And that's just like being a gladiator, right? It feels cool to be the winning gladiator, but it doesn't feel very cool to be the one not winning, right? But there's a reason why the Romans didn't put their own people into the ring, right? So who did they put into the ring? The prisoners, right? So there's a reason why they didn't do that. Because they believed that there was a better way. They believed that there was a way where it could actually be fit for survival. So everything they did, the way they built roads, the way they built governments, the way they governed everything, and the way they went to war, everything was based on that each individual could do their best part. Listen to this, their best part in a joint endeavor, and then we will win. Okay? So this is my message to you, is that each and every one of you, you have something that is in the combination of what is you have something that is incredibly unique in the world. It's just a matter to get it out there and put it into the system and be part of something that is bigger, and then the system will always win. That's my bet. So this is why I wanted to get with people to test this idea, does this work? And the way and one of the parts of this is, of course, this. So this is the topic of today, but there are more to this than that traditional funding sucks. And I have had investors, and I know what happens to a CEO starting to get big funding. 80% of your time goes to making the investors happy, and 20% you just hope that the rest of your people can actually do the work that is required to build the company, right? So, and of course someone stole my points, so I hope they read my slides. But here's the deal. Why is it that traditional funding sucks? The people of France actually paid for this statue, right? And the people of France means not the government, but the people. And why did they pay for it? Because it took the government years to try to finance it, right? So the people of France, they demanded that they took the taxpayers' money, and that took years. When it was ready to be shipped, there was just one problem. The Americans were to provide the pedestal on which to place the statue. And what did they do? They said, oh, but we have no money. There's really not a government that we can ask in the size of the French one. So we need to fund it ourselves. So Pulitzer, he was able to put this together. He put an ad in the paper, and they put together this amount of money. And that happened in months, not years, okay? So this just proves part of this story. But now to the people that have walked their talk, that have tested the grounds of this. This is Einar. Einar is an incredible individual that is very trusting. He trusts people. And it's gotten him places. So he trusted this, and so he saw on an afternoon at Mesh, 14th of November 2014, he was at Mesh, and some people popped up, and they talked about how they were going to save the world. I'll tell you that story, but he was the first one to jump in. And why did he jump in? Because this is what he said. He said, I know that it's incredible what might happen if people get together and put their wallets, their time, and share the outcomes of it. It's incredible what can happen. Everything changes. That's what he loves about it. And this is where Moonwalk arises. Because Moonwalk is not just a crowdfunding effort, it's also a crowdsourcing effort. It's also a crowd ownership effort. So it means it combines the crowdfunding part, it combines the commitment of time and competence from people, and it combines it with that they share the outcome of it. Okay? So let's have a look at that. This is Metila. She got in a little bit later. She got in when she saw some proof of concept. She saw that, oh my God, this is what I've been looking for a great part of my life. She's a marine biologist studying and working from the University of Oslo. This is what she saw. She saw this project being launched called Moonwalk Tomorrow, and some crazy people promised that we were going to create some industries beyond oil and gas. Oh my God, that's a pretty steep statement to make, right? But these crazy people, they believe they can change the world, so they are. And here's what happened. NTNU said, we'll chip in this. We want to join it. We know that our students are not going to get to work in the companies that sponsor all the events at our campuses anymore. So they need to work somewhere else. And where is that going to be? If we don't know, at least we need to make our own effort to create those companies. So we teamed up with NTNU, and NTNU said, you have a proven system that you used to use in big corporations. I used to work for DNB and Statoil and all this. And we used a system for innovation and entrepreneurship inside the organizations. So we put that to the table, and NTNU put the students and the network and the name and the confirmation that this was due diligenced in that. Okay? And here's the challenge we embarked on. What are we going to live off from when the oil ends? And the oil doesn't end, right? It's because it's too much oil that we're in troubles, right? But the investments in the oil industry are gone. That means our jobs are gone, because without investments, there's no salary, right? That's how it is. But at the same time, it's a golden ticket, because that means that we have people with ready hands, hearts, and minds to put to other uses, okay? And there are thousands of them. And right these moments, these weeks, why do you think that on TV now is the issue of, oh, you can't find work? Oh, why do you think that's now? Because now their severance packages, sluttpakker, has ended for the first people. That's when it hurts, right? I don't have the money I used to have, right? So this is about, we need to create new industry tomorrow, and this is a tremendous challenge. It's way bigger than anyone else can solve with some small startups. And just for you to mention that, I'm so delighted to have Finnish people here, because they are the best in the world of early stage financing, right? You knew that, right? They have an angel network of 500 individuals that heavily invest in 500 companies every year. But do you know how many workplaces that creates net every year? 1,200, that's it. 500 companies, 1,200 net workplaces. So that's not enough, right? So this is way more about you than anything else. This is about what you're going to work with tomorrow, or who you're going to work with, right? And I know I'm part of that. I need to be part of making that revolution, but I'm so grateful that I have other people in on it. So this is Erling. We said, okay, so someone needs to have this honorable assignment of going on a journey to create these industries. So this is Erling, he's one of them. And then we also said, well, let's make people contribute online as well. So this is the crowdsourcing part. How are we going to tap the knowledge and the competence of people out there? And then we gave it 100 days. And we gave it 100 days to do something really specific, to understand this challenge better than anyone else, and to deliver a portfolio of businesses. So listen to this. We didn't start helping entrepreneurs, we started the other way around. We said, this is a problem we're fighting for. We're going to embark on it. We're 45 people when we started. We're going to give ourselves 100 days to deliver the portfolio of which businesses do we believe that is proven to solve this challenge. By the end of those 100 days, we had 9 projects. They made it to be 7, so I just discarded 2 of the stories here. But these are companies that are way, way different than oil and gas businesses. So when I talked to the Minister of Oil and Gas about this, I didn't do that, but NTNU did. They said, it's a big problem for me, because the problem started in my department, none of the solutions end in my department. So I can't do anything for you, I'm sorry. So, but what does it prove? It proves that the oil and gas competences and the unfair advantages of the Norwegian nation as an oil and gas nation can be put to use in other places. And you knew this, of course. But at least here are some proof. And what do we do then? Then we said 100 days. We said, let's give it 100 more days to prove that these businesses have a market, that we can deliver on our promises, and that this can scale and grow. So we spent 100 days, and then we were more people. Now we were 60 people, right? And we spent 100 days doing that. And by the end of that period, the people who were in this, they vested shares in this. So they vested shares in the portfolio. So it means that half the portfolio is then owned by the people who actually did the work. And then you see 2 other owners here. It looks different today. And the difference is, we said, okay, so now we've delivered the proof. That is what Innovation Norway wants. That's what an investor wants. So how do we go about it? Well, we asked our board of advisors, Jan Bjørnvika at Google, Henrik Holmenhøst, the commercial director in Microsoft Nordics, and Bård Eker, the industrial designer, and more. We asked them, okay, so how should we go about this? And they told us, everyone is going to tell you, now you need a big investor. We're telling you, don't do it. They even have the money to do it for us. So they said, but don't choose us. Don't do that. Go to the crowd. That's what they said. I didn't plan for doing that, but I knew that the crowd model is strong. So we tried it, and this is what happened. So we invited Moonwalk Angels, people to invest so that these businesses that are now proven can have people go to work and deliver and pilot what we've done. And in 50 days, ending on Christmas Eve, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. I had meetings until 4 o'clock on Christmas Eve, so don't do that. So this is how the status was on Christmas Eve when it closed, okay? So we went from, we didn't know what ever was going to happen. We had 187 commitments, 135 unique individuals that made their commitment and said, yes, I want to invest in this, and here's my money. I'm showing you my money. And so almost $500,000, 4.3 million NOK was invested in that period. I could never dream of this, but I'm so proud that people believe in it so much and that I get to be a part of it. So 50 days, 135 angels, 4.3 million NOK. So I'm grateful for that. This means that now we have a 20% ownership of 135 angels. And here's the thing that Christian, he's up here. He said, I was one of the first committed astronauts. And think about what would happen if we had 1 or 2 investors. Yes, we would have their vast network. But who do you think these 135 people are? It is Jan Grønbæk, of course, with his network. And it is people like that. But it's also Christian, Sianda, Kirill, Daniela, Kenneth, and many others. 135 more others. Which means that that network is extremely extensive. And now they own 1/5 of the company. So if you would want to do an evaluation, you can count what the value of your shares are. But of course, we don't talk about that. And this is where, on the 15th of February, that's in a little bit over a week, 15 people go to work every single day on these startups. They work as a portfolio, but they work in individual teams, and they want to prove that they can pilot the operations on ground. They know there is a market, they know the promise delivers, they know they can deliver it, they know that it can scale, they have proven that, but now they need to actually do the work and scale it. After that, what do you think is going to happen? We need to ask for more money. Where do you think we're going to go? Of course to you, and us, and everyone. And we're going to give it 1 more 100 days to prove that it can grow out of our hands. Because there's only so much one can do in one phase of the project. At least me and the Moonwalk team, the core team of Moonwalk, we're not bank people. We're not private equity people. But we can develop something together with people. So my question to you is, are you an astronaut? Do you feel that you have some competence that could be part of something like this? I'm not saying this. I'm saying you could team up together and do something like this. At least it works way more than trying to do something on your own. If you want to do it with us, that's also welcome. I'm not hitting any bad spots here. But of course, we're looking to do this again. And we're looking to get more people in on the project. The second question is, there are troubles out there in the world. At least by the UN, they have claimed that there are 17 main challenges that the world is facing, and each one of these have several sub-challenges. So there are enough problems to do this again. There's enough to go around, don't worry. I will not do all of them. And then the question becomes, of course, are you ready to champion something like this, like NTNU did? NTNU said, this is what we're going to solve. We're taking our part of it, and we're doing it with Moonwalk. You can do it on your own, or you can do it with us. So this is an invitation, but it's an invitation not to join me, but to join all the people that are in and try to find what can you do in the situation we're in Norway. Here it says my name, if you are interested. It's me and it's the other people that are here that you saw. And my question is, what will be your Moonwalk? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Some chocolate on the way to the moon. We're going to have the last session before a small break, going back into the more traditional space, perhaps, with the DNB, where we are situated today. But that said, my kind of impression is that DNB has actually been trying to kind of reinvent the way they communicate with the entrepreneurial market. And they have actually released books, they've done a lot of things, and they've coined a new term called Oppstartslos. And we're going to welcome up on the stage Christopher Sapienza, who's one of these Oppstartsloser. I don't know how to translate that into English, like a startup guide.
But we are also going to the moon, so you can join us as well.
Right.
I didn't know actually, Kenneth, but have you ever heard the expression jumping after Wirkola? Yeah, I kind of feel it that way now, but I'll try to do my best. That's good. And if you're wondering why...
Should I introduce your...
No, he's not here, so
he's not here, so I don't need to do that.
I was trying
All right, I'll give you the floor.
first disclaimer here. The slides are in Norwegian, because I thought it would be in Norwegian until I came here this morning. So I want all of you to be my English teacher today and kind of correct me if I say something wrong when I try to translate my slides. And Christopher, the other Christopher, he was supposed to be here, but he couldn't join us. So it's only going to be me, and I'm going to talk about the way DNB are trying to make companies more, as it was said earlier, bankable and fundable and financeable, and like through the department where I work. Oppstartslosen in Norwegian, we like to translate the title to startup specialist. We are kind of a specialist group of 4 people working with people that want to start up by themselves. We can help you with a lot of different stuff. We can look through your idea and see like, oh, somebody's done this before, but you should try to angle it that way or try to do something other. We can help you through the planning phase. We can help you look through the documents required by the government, and we can kind of look at the business modeling part, how to kind of make your customer come back and what to do there. We have actually talked with over 5,000 different startups for the last 2 years, which we have been working, so that's kind of good. And we have a lot of experience from that, which we're trying to share at that site there, and by talking to us, so just reach out. what are the entrepreneurs doing wrong? This is kind of based on feedback that we have gotten from a lot of different people. They prepare badly. They don't do their market research. They don't look at what's been done before and what's doable. The one in the middle there, challenges around money and liquidity. They don't plan their money as well. They are too optimistical as the one down in the corner. They believe that they will have a higher income than the costs, and then they lose money and don't make the first years. And they believe that while jumping off their recent the company where they're working now, they believe that they will bring a lot of customer with them, which they actually don't. So they actually done bad preparations. So we at DNB are like the traditional business plan with the vision, the mission, what kind of value you're going to create, and what to do. We help you with that one there in order to be more fundable and more bankable, so that when you're applying for a loan or you're applying for funds, you'll be a lot more prepared. You can hear that I'm pretty nervous because I thought I would do it in Norwegian, but no problem. How many of you have seen this one here? Good. The main part here is that you need to be able to provide some value to your customers. And how are you supposed to do that? Yeah, you have a network, use that. You have to do that. Like Kygo, when he reached out the first time, he only used his friends, and by using his friends, using their friends, a lot of bloggers started writing about him. And when a lot of bloggers started writing about him, what happened? Do we need to say more? No. In addition to this, we have kind of prepared top 3 methods in order to find a good business model. So prepare your pens so you're ready to write down. Talk to your customers, talk to your customers, and talk to your customers. There's no fourth best method. You need to, as a lot of the founders that were talking earlier said, you have to talk with your customers and know what they want and how to evolve with them. So why not create what's an MVP? Minimum viable product, in order to get something out and evolve it with the customers so that you know that you are actually having customers using your product. You create something, you measure it, you analyze that, you're learning from that, and then you recreate. Make that circle work in order to getting the best product at the end of the day. Does somebody disagree? Steve Wozniak actually disagreed with me. I talked with him the other day, and he said, you should try to keep your idea to yourself and then make something good, because if you make something really good, it doesn't matter if you're late. And I was like, yeah, if you have a lot of cash like Apple now, you can do that. Or fans. But if not, you should try to evolve your product to customers, as was said earlier, in order to have those loyal customers which love your products. So we, as a bank, we're trying to be digital till stede. Digitally present, is that the right way of saying it? Yeah, we're trying to be digitally present and physically present in order to talk with you on those matters. You can talk to us about the VAT, the financing, the forretningsmodel, as it said in Norwegian. No, I was just kidding. The business model, a lot of different equipment in order to work out the best possible solution. So that was actually my speech today, and I was kind of opening for a debate here to talk about if some of you have founded something, or if you kind of want to share how you have been doing it, or if you have some other tips to the others in the audience here. Come on. Someone that either totally disagree or agree. Kenneth?
Yeah. Actually, it doesn't really matter if we agree or disagree, because you have more than 2 million customers in Norway, 2.5 or something like that. So it doesn't matter what I mean, but I think this is tremendous that you're going into this space, and I think actually you're helping way more than because many of these things are not accessible through advice and stuff like that. And then the other part is, of course, what is your next wave? You're doing this for entrepreneurs. Where's your next platform, or where are you going with this? That's what I wonder, because you could be a tremendous force, and you know that, right?
Of course. We are always looking for opportunities and to see how to evolve with the customers, and as you said, how to connect your customers and how to create a powerful way of working together. We're always looking for that. But is there any startups here that like tried some of this or didn't try, or kind of? Yep.
I will actually call you tomorrow and ask about some legal issues.
Yeah. I'll forward you to our lawyers so that you get the right. we can give you like some basic advices, but I'm not a lawyer, so I cannot like sit down and write that stuff. But I'll help you out, no problem. I know a lot of lawyers.
All right. Thank you very much. Do you have any more questions? We are a little bit behind schedule.
That's why I tried to keep it quick, and because I was nervous.
One more question, and then we'll try to land before a short break.
Actually, we have a startup company, and actually it was the reason we chose DNB as a bank, because I've heard about it, and I got some good answers on the phone. But the question is, how much time do you use per customer? When do you say you've got enough? Stop asking.
when you don't find my help helpful anymore, because I know that there are some others in the bank that could probably help you more. Like, I'll try to help you out from the very beginning till you kind of, like, if you get a loan, you'll have to talk with somebody on that part. But on the other side, like, if you have some marketing issues or you like need to use our network or stuff, just feel to call us, no problem.
All right, give him a hand.
Thank you very much.
And also, Christopher, some chocolate for you as well. Thank you. All right, as I said, we're a little bit behind schedule, but the most exciting part of the afternoon is actually awaiting after the break. So we'll take a 10-minute break. And may I also remind you that if you want to find all the presentations and also streaming of the whole event, you can check out Bidra.no, where all this information. Okay, there's the microphone. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Please take your seats. We've been talking a lot about the developments within the crowdfunding emerging industry and a lot of different concepts. But now we are going to the practical, what's it all about? It's about a new mechanism for great companies to find funding and grow with that funding. So we're going to have a live pitching event. We're going to give 4 companies 5 minutes each, and we are going to open up for 1 or 2 quick questions afterwards, because in the end, these companies are here presenting to you guys, and they are looking for investors. So if you have any questions that you wonder after hearing the short presentation, please be quick to raise your hand, and we'll give you the chance to ask questions. So I'm not going to be very long here, but we're going to first introduce the first company, which is called Foodbud, led by Mr. Jan Vardøen, a famous guy in Oslo. If you have not drunk beer in one of his places, you've not been here. There you go.
Hello. Mic on? Yes. Yeah. Yes, my name is Jan Vardøen. I'm a busy guy, a kind of serial entrepreneur, and I also run a bunch of restaurants in Oslo. And last year in the autumn, Norway received a lot of refugees. Suddenly a whole bunch of Syrians and Eritreans and Afghanis came into Oslo. And the police weren't really geared up for this. So what happened was that the refugees came to the east side of town, and they couldn't be processed quick enough, so they were sleeping on the streets, they were sleeping outside the police station, they were hungry, and they'd come to a kind of a cold country. And we felt that some people felt it'd be nice to go and meet them and say welcome to Norway. And one of the problems that arose was they didn't have enough food. So I run a bunch of restaurants. I said, well, this is no problem, we just send some food down. This is the first week, so we sent down 20 meals, and then the next day was 40, and the next day was 60, and it just kind of exploded. So I asked my restaurateur friends if we couldn't just cooperate in this, and they said sure. And then by the end of the process, we'd served many thousand meals. And it went very efficiently. We had like a rota, and like for 2 months, everyone knew 2 months ahead of time who'd be working on that one day, so it wasn't a big job for anyone. So that worked very well, and the organization Refugees Welcome to Norway kind of exploded. In the space of 2 weeks, we had 90,000 members. The whole thing went through Facebook. It worked very well. We were much quicker than some of the larger organizations, which are a bit more formal and slow-moving. We have 60 local groups now. The whole thing's doing very well. But that's not really what this project's about. When we were there, people were ringing up every day because people found it a great relief to be able to do something practical immediately where they were. So people were ringing every day and saying, I've got a bunch of food, I just had a catering, I have a big party, we had a canteen at work, can I come down straight away with this food? And the answer was generally no, because we were already booked up. But it was we kind of tried to steer them to the Fattighus, Kirkens Bymisjon. We tried to find some places we can remember the top of our heads where to send them. And someone said, there really should be an app for this. So, okay, let's make an app. So that's what we've done. We made an app. It's called Foodbud. I think I'll just take that back. It's a very simple idea. If you got some food, if you got a canteen, a restaurant, you're catering, whatever, and you're sitting there, this happens a lot in this business, and you want to get rid of the food, you don't want to throw it away. The app is to link you with people who need the food here and now. Not always static. Maybe it's a refugee situation. Maybe it's a Romanian situation. There's all sorts of different situations that crop up. Maybe you've got a sporting event for your school, whatever. That's basically what we've done. We've made the app to connect people who have too much food with people who need the food right away. And we made a little film because Bidra.no said, very good idea to make a film. So we followed their advice. Can I have you start this thing?
Hei, jeg heter Jan Varden. Jeg driver en del restauranter. Og det hender innimellom at man plutselig har for mye mat. Og man har veldig lite lyst til å kaste det. Det blir kastet alt for mye mat. Så vi har laget en app som heter Foodbud. Og på den appen så kan du se hvem trenger mat. Om det Kirkens Bymisjon, Fattighus, suppekjøkken, Flyktninghjelpen, fotballarrangement, hva som helst. Vi skal koble folk som trenger mat til folk som har veldig behov for å bli kvitt maten. Og hvis du går på Bidra.no, så kan du lese hva det dreier seg om. Og hvis du går på Bidra.no, så kan du putte litt penger i potten for at vi skal få dette ut og opp og stå. Hvis du driver catering, restaurant, du har en fest, plutselig har alt for mye mat, så dette stedet å gå.
So it's a very easy idea. Everyone wins. People who want to get rid of their food can. People who need food will get it. It's good for the environment. We don't throw away food anymore if we can get those figures down. It's very user-friendly. The app will tell you who needs food, where and now, where to find them. It also tells you if you have the food. I mean, it goes both ways. And it's also scalable. We want to roll this out over the whole world. If anyone wants to use it, it's free. It can be in Oslo, in Bergen, in Norway, in Sweden, in the European Union. It can be in the world. It's a very easy idea. It works off your phone. It's not just an app. It's also a web-based application, so you can use it on your you can use it anywhere you feel comfortable with. It's not totally confined to a mobile phone. These are the places you can go and see. We have a Facebook, and we also have the .coms as well. What you get back if you invest in it is absolutely nothing except a good feeling of having helped someone. If you can't invest, then just share it. It'd be nice if you get to share it. Next, A2N in Norway have helped make the app, or they're making the app, and they've been very kind. They're doing it for an actual fraction of what it really costs. So we're looking for 130,000 kroner, and that is a very small part of what it costs, but they're doing it for the good of the cause. And we're also going to need to find people who actually need the food. I mean, we need to find gatepatruljen, natteravnene, sprøytebussen. If you have suggestions to who could be taking on the food, then let us know. And that's really all there is to it. Thank you.
Jan, maybe if you hold on just 1 second. Do we have any questions, or is everything crystal clear? One question there.
No, this is my very first time out. If I've been involved in crowdfunding, no, this is the first time. But Bidra, I've been helping with the advice, and that seems to be a very good, it's very clear, and I know what to do, I think.
Any other questions? Let's see. One there, please.
We're starting in Oslo, and if people want to do it in Oslo, in Bergen or Trondheim or Kristiansand or whatever, then it's sure. I mean, we wanted to roll out wherever, but we'll start here.
All right. Okay, one last question and then...
Very quickly, because I've done this before, like I've made cakes and I've taken them to
Yeah.
people or done this after events. Do you work with individuals or organizations?
We want to work with everyone. I think the vast majority in our experience, it's catering companies or it's people who've had a catering. So it's been private people who've had food made by large kitchens. But we're open to preferably individuals, but I think the majority will be maybe institutions, canteens, kitchens, large places. But yeah, we're open for everyone.
All right. Excellent. The next company is called Fansaved, and please welcome up Mr. Alf Morten Tveiten. The floor is yours to present the company.
Thank you. Is the microphone on? Yes, there it is. If you can think of, if you're watching television show, think of a show you really loved, Friends, Firefly, something like that. It got cancelled. A lot of people mean way too soon. But think, if you could save one cancelled show that you really love, Fansaved will be the best way to accomplish that. The problem today with the cancellations of shows is the fans. Most viewers have little impact because they are targeting, or they are measuring 20,000 households in America, and the analytics company is called Nielsen, and they make a rating based on how many are watching it, and for the rating is the base for what the television companies can charge the advertisers, which is directly linked to their income. So if the rating is too bad, they earn less money than they want to, and they cancel the show and try with a new one. Another problem is that fan campaigns are fragmented. People lack focus and a common goal to work with. There are no tools to organize the masses. If you have 30,000 fans that wants to save a show, it's very hard to organize 30,000 people moving in the same direction. And also, fan campaigns, historically, adds little value to concerned parties. If you sign an online petition, or for Jericho, in instance, they sent 30,000 pounds of nuts to the television network, that adds little value. The question is there a market? In March 2013, the show creator and the lead actress of Veronica Mars went to Warner Bros. And asked, we want to do a crowdfunding campaign to make a finishing movie of Veronica Mars. What's your requirement to do this? And the studio said, we need $2 million, then we will make a finishing movie. In 30 days, they got 5.7 million from 91,000 fans to make a finishing movie. What the Veronica Mars Kickstarter campaign showed is that if the fans are given an attainable and credible solution, they will go all in. The studio required 2 million. The fans almost tripled that. It was the fastest project to reach 1 million, which it made in 4 hours and 24 minutes. It was the fastest project to 2 million, which was in less than 12 hours. It was the all-time highest funded in the film category, and the third highest funded project in Kickstarter history. So they broke a lot of records. So the question is, there's no platform today that tailors to saving shows. In this case, the show creator and the lead actress went and got a deal ahead of time. That has never happened before, and the last 2 years it hasn't happened again, because then you put the you give the responsibility of saving a show to the show creators. We think in Fansave that the fans should be given that opportunity and responsibility. So we are creating a website and an app that tailors to all the needs you have in saving a show. And we are going to make money on online advertising, fixed fee on successful saves, just like Kickstarter and Indiegogo does, partnerships, affiliate commission, and joint venture solutions. We have a website blog and marketing materials we are ready to launch the company. We are working on a minimum viable product, but we wish to raise it to a minimum lovable product, as Simon earlier today mentioned. So we are doing a finance round. We don't need money to launch the MVP solution, but we wish to launch a better product. And we have money to launch, but we don't have money for a year of service. So we want to raise money to make a minimum lovable product and 1 year of running cost financing between 2 and 3 million. And we are doing it either by traditional or using equity crowdfunding at investor. We are looking at that and trying to find out that now. We are very interested in that. If we succeed, we will be a game changer on how cancellations and ending of TV series are done. We can be able to give the power back to the fans if we achieve it as we hope and plan to do. Any questions?
Do I have any questions?
I have two, actually. It's cheating. First of all, thank you so much for this. I love this. I can't wait to save my series. I guess my first question is this. Once a show is cancelled, I presume you want to get in there before that decision is made.
Yeah.
Do you then propose to finance a show from scratch, like Netflix would have done, or do you just aim to get them above a certain threshold, which will help the advertisers as a top-up, if you like?
Yeah.
So if you only reach 80%, we'll do the last 20.
Yeah, we will do. That's the beauty by doing this as a custom, because we can specify it for whichever show and whatever need. We would love to cooperate with Netflix in covering half the cost, for instance. Like Jericho, has been rumors that Netflix can save it, but it hasn't happened anything for 2 years. So either someone with the rights are being difficult, or Netflix doesn't find the profitability to be good enough. And then we could be a partner on both the profitability and a sparring partner. So it depends. We want to be so big that the moment a show gets cancelled, we get called in on the board. Because then it's much easier and cheaper to save a show and give it one more season when it's airing, instead of trying to save it 5 years afterwards when the actors are doing other gigs and yeah.
Sorry, and I have a comment as well. Another thing you might want to do is contact producers like the giant J.J. Abrams. I mean, for him it hurts like killing a baby when he has to kill a show.
Yeah.
But if he knew he had someone like you that would top up the difference, so that it's the profitability is 10%, not 9%, and that brings him over the threshold.
Yeah.
Anyway, my second question is, how do you make money? If the advertisers don't think the ratios are good enough, will an army of volunteers alone be enough?
One of the things we are going to make money on, our intention is, it's not covered, it's not hammered in stone yet, but we are thinking about giving 20% of all the company revenue back in the members fund, and then the members can vote on which shows to save, where to direct the money. Because we are affiliate commissioning was one of our income sources. If we make a toolbar, for instance, our primary target are so emotionally driven that if they feel they get something back, they would use a toolbar, and all the online shopping would go through our links, because they would pay the same for the product, but we would get a commission. And if we get big enough, we can fund saving shows on that income source alone.
Right. Did I see one arm up there? No? Well, you had 2 questions, so you covered it up. Very good, and good answers. And great presentation. All right, the third company we're going to hear from today is called Norway Seaweed. And the entrepreneur that's going to present this is Anton Vosko-Bojnikov. Welcome up.
Thank you. Hi everyone. This one is in Norwegian originally, but I decided to take it in English anyway. My name is Anton. I'm co-founder and chairman of the board of the company called Norway Seaweed. We are going to develop technology and methods for successful growing of algae, macroalgae, seaweeds in the sea, as a response to some of the biggest problems in the world. Think that we are soon 9 billion people in the world. We will need 70% more food. And here's the bad news. According to McKinsey, our technology development is not going to be enough to produce enough food for everyone. Okay, we can solve this problem only with algae, with seaweeds, but seaweeds have been used in products as food in Asia for many, many years, and it's going more and more popular in Europe, and the market is 25 million already now, and it's growing 10% each year. What we should remember that farming is not going to produce enough food for us. In fact, they have a large problem themselves, because we are going to run out of phosphorus. It's essential for producing food in agriculture, and it's going to happen in 20 to 50 years from now. And seaweeds can capture phosphorus from the sea and deliver it to the land, back to the land. So there is a demand for minerals using in agriculture, which can be covered by seaweeds. And the market in Norway alone is 100,000 nitrogen, 100,000 ton nitrogen and 10,000 ton phosphorus. If we are going to solve this problem with food, we are going to go to the sea offshore and produce the food there. And aquaculture is going to produce 5 times more fish, and they are going to use 6 times more feed. Where are they going to get protein sources for fish feed? If they use fish meal as today, it's going to be more and more expensive, and they're trying to substitute it with cheaper and not so very good sources of proteins, which means that we are going less and less nutrients in our food which we eat. The level of omega-3 is just a half in the farmed fish now. So can we produce enough proteins for fish we are going to produce? Yes, we can produce. If you use the same area for seaweeds as we use for aquaculture today, we can produce 250,000 tons of proteins. It's almost 80% of all meat production in Norway today. What happens when we don't get enough nutrients in our food? We look worse, we need cosmetics. And we feel worse, so we need supplements. And algae, seaweeds, they can be used in both. And the market for wellware market on the world's basis is 625 billions, and it's growing. We are talking about cleaner energy, and seaweeds can be used for production of biogas, biodiesel, hydrogen. In addition, you could use seaweeds to clean water for process industry. They can capture carbon, and they can clean water after aquaculture. In fact, if you place seaweeds near the cages, aquaculture cages, they're going to grow twice the size for the same amount of time. So people need it, but who is going to produce all these great products? Somebody has to grow it in the sea. And what we are going to do, we are going to combine existing methods and technologies that exist today with documented profitability. So we're going to put it in a unique way so that we can put down the costs and scale the whole production. In order to achieve it, we need 6 months. We need 1.5 million Norwegian crowns for pre-project. We need a project which will be about 2.5 years and will cost about 4 million Norwegian crowns. And success factors for us is, first of all, we have to document the need of the market. We have to have cooperation with the organizations who are leading in the world to secure the best experience and technology we can use today. We need technology with documented results already today, which we can use as basis and to build upon it. And we need a team with a unique set of competences, which can both business development, biology, and technology. So all of that we have already now, and now we invite investors to join. Thank you.
All right. Do we have any questions for Anton? One there.
Will you develop the technology itself that you grow the algae on, or is that something you claim is off-the-shelf technology? Since I know that there are other startups working hard to develop that type of technology, and they sort of haven't reached it yet.
The technology exists, but there is no golden standard, and we need to adjust it for Norwegian conditions. So we are building upon the existing technology, but we are going to change it somewhat.
But it is the technology itself that will be the core of your, or is it more the sort of full?
It's the full cycle of production. So we're going to use technology, some biomethods to grow it, and we will produce some seaweeds.
One there and one last there. First you.
Yes, now we are going to the market. We've got support from Innovation Norway, but we've got already many signals. So we know approximately where the price is going to be. But we are going to check it now in dialogue with customers.
And there was one more question here.
Just about, you mentioned proteins, and a lot of vegetables have little protein, but do I understand it correctly that these seaweeds have a lot of protein? Or?
Yes, you can produce a lot of proteins with seaweeds. That's correct. And they are superb to other proteins in vegetables.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Actually, I heard that you can actually live off only eating seaweed. Some places in Japan or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll find out in the future. All right.